Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs, aka Raj Von Dodge. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan. Davey, how are you?
I'm on another level today, Richard.
Another level.
We're just better. We're just better than everybody today. That's how I'm feeling.
I do feel good about it.
Yep.
I feel good. We've had a good 2020 so far. Ryan, do you have a good President's Day?
I didn't. We don't sell, in the independent school realm, we don't do President's Day. We don't do that. So
real quick, because I know you're a bit of a history buff.
Sure.
Your in order top 25 presidents.
In order.
Yep.
Number 1, Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay. 2.
After that, doesn't matter.
2 through 25, all about the same.
Teddy Roosevelt got shot in the chest.
Yeah.
And finished the goddamn speech.
Yeah. Well, they don't make him
hit him right in the pec. And he kept going. That guy's a grinder.
Do you think he had like an ashtray? He slipped it in there like Batman did that one time?
Or like a cigarette case or something?
Or yeah, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Do you think Grover Cleveland gets enough credit?
No, I don't think so.
People sleep on Cleveland. I also...
Handsome Frank Pierce.
So, sad story about that is talking to an old social studies teacher. So, Davey and I are from New Hampshire, and the only president ever from New Hampshire is Franklin Pierce, and a lot of people maintain he's the worst president of all time.
Correct.
So he's got that going for him.
Yep.
Another fun president fact: thanks to the song that they did on The Simpsons, like where they taught, they rip through all the presidents.
Yes,
we had to. It was probably 8th grade. Do pick any president we want and write a paper on him. So being the clever kid that I was, I said, I'll do fucking William Henry Harrison. The guy was only in office for a month, and then he died. How much could I possibly have to write about him? Turns out that the papers all had to be the same length.
Oh yeah, they got you. That's how you get got.
I had to figure out a way to write.
You know what song? Remember the Animaniacs did that song with all the countries in the world?
Yeah, that was good.
I tried to learn that once, and that's hard.
That's a lot going on.
That's a lot going on.
But it helped people learn maps.
You learn the world.
You learn maps. It's important to know things, because let's say, Ryan, all of a sudden you got plopped onto where in the world is Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah,
and you got to the end, and now you got to find countries. Otherwise, you're screwed.
It's based on clues, and you got to be the gumshoe there.
You do.
You're gonna be the gumshoe.
I would get so fucking mad at that game when how they had to find the loot, the warrant, and the crook.
Yeah, the loot, the warrant, the crook. Yeah.
And so they're up there on the little panel, and the kid knows where the crook is, and he picks him first, and then he keeps hunting. And even the guy running it was like, "Yep, that's the crook, but you need the loot, warrant, and the crook." And it was fucking frustrating.
It was like watching Guts. Like how bad athletes were on Guts.
Terrible.
Back in the day.
Terrible.
You're like, this kid is an absolute squid. Like, how do you not? You have a trampoline. How do you not dunk the basketball?
I don't know how they got on that show to begin with. It had to be like an inside job.
They probably knew someone out of the crowd or something.
They knew a producer.
Speaking of Michael Malley, the host of Guts, Nashua, New Hampshire native.
Tie it all together.
There you go. Tie it all together. Bring it back to New Hampshire.
Franklin Pierce, Adam Sandler,
Ray LaMontagne.
Who?
Davey and Keefe. Ray LaMontagne. He's a singer songwriter.
Mandy Moore.
Mandy Moore. Jinx. Yep.
Triple H. China.
Yep.
Pick of the pod. And that's probably all she wrote.
John Kerry. No, he's not from New Hampshire.
No, he just went to St. Pablo's. That's all that is. Ryan, what do you say we get to a very action-packed news?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first things first, Ryan. There was a Stranger Things Season 4 teaser. Some are calling it a trailer. I like to call it more of a teaser. It's about 30 seconds where it reveals that Hopper is alive. And it looks like he's doing some sort of railroad work in Russia.
He's in a gulag.
Yeah.
In Russia.
So they did already say that Season 4 was going to take place outside of Hawkins. Before you comment on what you think of Hopper, do you want or need a Season 4 of Stranger Things?
No, I don't.
I think it had a good run. I think 3 seasons was it. Season 1 to me was still the best season.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Probably pretty clearly.
Like it wasn't not close.
No, and then I did like 2 and 3 a lot, but it's so reliant to me on the Dustin Steve combo now.
Yeah, you're gonna pull them out of Hawkins. I got to get all these kids out of Hawkins. How are you going to make it so they go to Russia? That doesn't make any sense to me.
And then let me guess, 11 is going to have to save the day. She's going to almost die, but then she's not, and she's going to save the day.
A lot of nosebleeds.
Oh, hard to watch.
All the nosebleeds. Yep.
Hard to watch. But Hopper's alive, which is, I mean, we like David Harbour, and that's one of the great it's one of the great TV characters, but I don't know, man. I feel like this has a chance to be not great.
Yeah, that is better than average chance of being not good and ruining the experience for everybody.
Didn't we think Hopper was dead?
We did think Hopper was dead, and then they did the post-credit thing where they're like, the American.
Yep.
And you didn't know who the American was. So now he's got a shaved head.
Yeah, he looks good. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's right. The post-credits, he was alive, but everybody, including Winona Ryder, they all think he's dead.
Right. And there was a very touching letter that he wrote to Elle, which is probably the way you should have ended it, you know?
Right. It was a good ending. And then, but it's sort of like a to be continued, and you're like, well, but apparently we have to see it. So, and I don't know if the release date is out yet. I don't think I saw it. Like at the end of the teaser, usually it says like August or October, or
like 2021 or something like that.
I haven't seen anything yet.
I got nothing.
Speaking of exciting things in 2021, Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman film, released a thing on Vimeo.
Yes.
You a big Vimeo guy?
Vimeo is kind of like...
What is Vimeo like?
The answer, yes. Yes, I am a Vimeo guy.
Wow.
They are kind of like YouTube, but more like for artists, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that would be right up your alley.
They're a little bit more lax with like what you can get away with on Vimeo.
Porno?
Artistic nudes.
Okay.
but also like it's for like not to get technical on you, but like the capabilities of Vimeo are much more robust than YouTube.
I got
and it's less like So it's if you're an artist or you want to put together like a portfolio, you'd probably do it on Vimeo rather than YouTube.
Should we start posting these episodes to Vimeo?
No.
Okay, we're on YouTube though.
We're on YouTube. There. Yeah, we're right where we need to be.
Right in the safe space. Yep. YouTube, and we're on RedTube. No, we're not.
We are. I actually checked out once I searched it.
Just imposters.
It's weird. Yeah.
Actually, I bet if you search hashtag dork on there,
you'd get something.
You'll find there'll be some hits.
There's actually an adult parody of this podcast called Dorked. And it's all people getting dorked.
Yeah. It's got nothing to do with us, but hey, we'll take the pub. We'll take the pub.
Yeah.
So he posted on Vimeo, and then he tweeted out a link to it, and it's a look at Robert Pattinson, which the kids are calling Battinson.
Yeah.
And you don't get the full like head to toe, but you get kind of like chest plate to like forehead. So we don't see the ears, but you see the face and you see the bat symbol, which apparently is made out of the gun that killed Batman's parents.
Which, if that's true, like he did do that in the comics one time. I found in my research, he put it like right under the chest plate. Like but if that's true, like that's pretty awesome.
I think so. Right now,
nips there.
And we're not talking about the Clooney suit.
No,
we're talking. What Batman has been your favorite Batman? I know it's a loaded question, but who do you think's been the best on-screen Batman? So not animated, not voiceover. Just who's been your best on-screen Batman so far?
They're like my children. I like them all for different reasons. But if I had, Sean Gunn, James Gunn,
I'm gonna go Sean Gunn head, James Gunn dick on this one. Bale's probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
Although I could just be swayed because he's in the best movies.
Right. I think
because I thought Affleck was actually really good. Affleck was really good. He just didn't. He was in bad movies.
He's in bad movies. Like if he was in better movies as Bruce Wayne, like we would be having serious conversations about how he's the best on-screen Batman. The look of him, the size of him, like
and he's like he to me is a better Bruce Wayne than Bale was.
I agree.
I also liked Michael Keaton a lot, but maybe that's just because I was little when I saw him. But I liked Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other two guys obviously were just so far down the list.
Yeah, not great.
But I think there's a really good chance that it's amazing. Like we've been seeing on-screen Batmen for 30 years now, and Robert Pattinson, decent chance he's the best one.
Yeah, I mean, just
Like, I
based
legit
on the
think there
look,
is.
just based on the
Yeah.
look of it, he's got that kind of like homemade mask, and he's got that kind of Arkham suit where it's like
Yeah.
pieces of armor that are kind of like moved together. So I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of
I
into
can't
it.
wait.
I'm excited.
I still don't really know if are they gonna put him in the DCEU just like this was Ben Affleck? Like they can't do it that, or like this turned
No,
into Ben Affleck, or like they can't really do that, can
they
they?
can't do that. No,
Yeah, they're just gonna
this has to be its own
start
thing.
over.
Yeah.
But I'm way more excited about the new Batman than I am the new Stranger Things.
Oh God, yeah. Why?
Yeah, not
like,
close.
you're a human with a pulse.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, red-blooded American. So
Yeah.
Ryan, did you see the trailer for the new Wes Anderson movie called The French Dispatch?
How whimsical does this look? How just nice does this look? You know,
I feel
it's
like though,
quirky.
it is quirky. I feel like if you went on to your, let's say you have a Mac, right?
Sure.
And it comes with iMovie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's got to be a button you can click and you can just import pictures and it'll pump out a Wes Anderson trailer.
They do Ken Burns, but you can also, there has to be a Wes Anderson feature.
Pretty
there
soon,
as well.
I think there's going to be like a Wes Anderson mode. Like, hey, like film some stuff with your friends and we can turn it into Wes Anderson. Like it's a very defined look. And
super saturated, like tons of color, like
it's just so dry. Could drier than the Sahara out there.
And just people fucking love it. People fucking love it.
I need to be in the right mood. It's almost like a war movie for me, where I need to be in the right mood to see Wes Anderson.
But you know what movie what's the one?
Royal Tenenbaums is probably my favorite.
What's the one with the kids on the what's it called?
Oh, the one at the camp?
Yes. Oh, fuck.
Why
am I having like a brain fart right
Bruce
now?
Bruce Willis and Ed Norton are in that one.
Well, they're in all of his movies.
Well, yeah, that does not really help.
So I'm Moonrise Kingdom. Sorry, that was embarrassing.
So did you like that one?
I like Moonrise Kingdom a lot.
All right, let's just.
And the Life Aquatic is my other favorite of his.
Let's rip through these. Out of the ones that he directed,
mm-hmm.
Bottle Rocket, which was like the ones that like
that was fine. Like
Owen and Luke Wilson on the map. So Rushmore's great.
Rushmore's good. Yeah.
Royal Tenenbaums is great.
Yep.
Life Aquatic is good. The Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling Limited. Yeah, I saw that once. And I didn't really care for it.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. I did not see.
I saw that. It was actually pretty good.
Moonrise Kingdom.
Very good.
Grand Budapest Hotel. Like it's fine.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Isle of Dogs.
Didn't see it.
And then now the French Dispatch. I mean, they're all the goddamn same.
Yeah,
I mean, they're different. The stories are obviously different, but just like
but it's got like those like plucking string.
Yeah. Oh god.
Orchestra thing,
and like the narrator that kind of carries you through. And like,
yeah.
Last little thing that I saw, Ryan, and I didn't even end up clicking on the article, but I saw this when I was on the internet earlier, and I was just doing my internet rounds, and the question was, will Dr. Doom be the villain in Black Panther 2?
No.
And I said, let me ask Ryan.
No.
Why not? That's a good one.
They're gonna the Namor is gonna show up.
Yeah, but Namor's a good guy.
I know, but there's tension there.
Oh,
there's always been tension there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
sometimes that's the best villain. I mean, Civil War was good, and it was good guys.
But the tension, remember because they tipped it a little bit when they said like, oh, there's like earthquakes in the ocean, and like, how are you handling that? And Okoye is like, we handle it by not handling it. Like we just don't mess with the ocean. So I think that
I do think they need to get Doctor Doom going at some point in one of these MCU movies.
At some point.
I like the idea of him being like one of the main Earth bad guys and having like Galactus be like your next Thanos.
Yes, but you need Doom. You need Doom.
Now, do you think they're gonna eventually bring in like Magneto and the X-Men?
I mean, Doom's kind of interacted with everybody. I mean, always like more Fantastic Four than anything else, but he's dealt with everybody.
He's a bad man with Jamma.
So I think you bring him in, at least mention him.
Yeah, I wonder
where is he from? Like Latveria or something? He's from like where the hell is he from?
Yeah, that sounds right. Latvia, or is it?
It's like Latveria or something.
Okay, yeah, it's a made up place. I think, or at the very least, Doctor Doom will probably be in either this year or next year in like a post-credit scene.
Or just like a mention of them.
Get
or something,
it going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got to get it going. You got to get the Fantastic Four going. I'm completely on board for John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to be.
I have no problem with that. I know Krasinski was tweeting about he wants to be Reed Richards,
which would be awesome.
I like that.
You could have Tony Stark's gone, but you could see you had the Illuminati.
Who do you think would play Thing?
Michael Chiklis would be great.
If they could get him.
If they could get him. I don't know what he's doing right now. But
if they could get him.
Another Boston guy.
Yeah, you basically just need any guy that looks like a toad, like a full-grown toad, and then
has a voice has a voice like that. You know what I mean?
No. I think I meant chode.
That's not nice. That's not a nice thing to say about any. That's not designed to make anyone feel good.
I'll clean that up. I won't put that in the podcast. Do you think Chris Evans will play Human Torch?
He'll actually play three separate roles, or maybe Michael B. Jordan.
Oh,
Michael B. Jordan is Thing.
Michael B. Jordan was good. Who was the guy who played Thing in that shit bag?
Jamie Bell.
Ugh.
Who's like 5'5".
Yeah, and like rail thin.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that at all.
No, but he was a street tough.
Didn't buy it.
Didn't buy that at all.
I mean, you try to act your ass off, but there's still something about the appearance. Yeah, I just didn't like it. Ryan, that's the news that I have. Should we get to your news?
Let's get to my news, Richard.
All right. What do you got?
Guess what, Richard, is just 9 short days away.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Fuck. I didn't know there was going to be a test.
You want me to tell you?
No.
Fucking PAX East, my dude. You want to go to PAX East? Who's going to PAX East this year? Huh?
Nobody
show of hands.
With any self-respect would show their face at fucking PAX East.
Fuck PAX East.
I hate PAX East.
Don't you, though?
I hate it so much. And they'll just never learn.
You know what I want to do? I want to go to they have a tabletop free play area as well as a VR. Wouldn't you just I would love to go to their VR free play area and just fuck with everybody.
Yep.
You know, I'm not going to do that, Richard, because you know why?
Because you're not going.
Because that means I would have to go.
You're not going. You're not going to go.
I'm not going to go.
What would you get there besides probably a parking ticket and stuck in the snow?
You get to have a conversation with some indie developer talking about a game like Survival of the Fetus.
I don't want to talk to that guy anymore. And I probably shouldn't be even putting this out there, but they also said that they were going to have the coronavirus this year. And I said, why would you guys want that? And they were like, we want to see how quickly it spreads. And I'm like,
you were like, good.
Jesus Christ.
And they're like, you ever been on a cruise ship and a thing of dysentery broke out? Plus coronavirus. So you're puking and shitting while you're dying. So I'm guessing that's what's happening at PAX East this year. That's their big thing.
Yeah. Okay.
They have a coronavirus panel.
Right. And then you can play like Atari. Like, I don't want to do that.
Or like Magic the Gathering, like on a table, or Dungeons and Dragons.
No.
That's not for me. But you know what could be for us down the road, Richard?
What's that? PAX West?
E3. I would actually, we've talked about this. I would actually like to go to PAX South. I hear Austin, Texas is a place to be.
It's the capital city.
I have good food, good blues music. Would you like to go to Austin at some point? Because I would.
Okay.
All right.
I can be talked into it, I guess.
That's the spirit. I'm going to need more of a commitment than that, but here we go.
Austin, Texas?
Or how about this?
That's what I said. Austin, Massachusetts.
How about this? Beginning on Tuesday, June 9th, how about E3? We should probably show our faces at E3 at some point.
June 9th?
I'm just saying. But they have a list of people.
Can I live till tomorrow, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I get to tomorrow first?
Here are the people who are...
Where is it?
It's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we're not going to that.
Nah, fuck. All right. Well, here's who is going to be there, Richard. They had the E3 so far. Sorry. The 2020 exhibitors for E3 are Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Capcom, Hori, Microsoft, Dreams, Nintendo, Nvidia, Oculus, Sega, Square Enix, Take-Two Interactive, Ubisoft, and Warner Brothers Interactive. That is interesting because
Rocksteady.
Well, Warner Brothers Interactive.
Oh yeah,
they could be showing off a new Batman game at E3 or announcing it. So that's good. I mean, you think of who else is there? We got Bethesda's going there, so we're probably going to get maybe a new Fallout title.
Okay.
Who knows?
Who's to say?
Capcom, a lot of Resident Evil stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nvidia and Oculus. So we got, a little VR action going on there. So it could be exciting. No Sony, no Microsoft.
All right.
So that's a little disappointing. But
should we put in for a press pass just to see if we get it? And then if we do get it, at least we like them. And if we don't get it, then we can throw a fit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nothing makes this podcast engine run better than a good feud, you know?
I tweeted out the other day because friend of the podcast, Ken Border from Mammoth Gamers, pick of the pod, was he tweeted about how he's not going to PAX East. And then so I said, fuck PAX East on Twitter.
Yeah.
And some guy responded, he goes,
what you still upset about not getting a press pass?
Yes.
Pretty clearly, right?
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Yes. I don't get people, man. I really don't.
Were you still butthurt about?
What's the matter?
Yeah, I am.
You're still upset about not getting it for free?
Don't you know who the fuck I am?
Yeah.
Like, you pay me to come to these things.
Yeah, you pinpointed it. Yeah, we should have a fucking table there.
Exactly.
Just set up
a booth.
Just we'll run it. Yeah. Just shoot the breeze. People are, who are you guys? Don't worry.
I got two more things. One is a new segment, Richard.
A new segment within a segment?
A new segment within a segment. It's very Inception that way.
Do we have a sounder? Or the sounder?
Did you know that Sonic the Hedgehog is now the highest grossing video game movie opening weekend of all time?
I
don't know if that's video game news or if that's just standard Dork news, Dork movie news, but that's the highest grossing video game movie opening weekend of all time. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Did it say what it passed? Because my guesses would be like, I don't even know what, like Resident Evil or Hitman.
Oh, Hitman! Those movies are dumps.
Assassin's Creed.
Might be.
Maybe
actually.
That was somewhat recent.
That was somewhat recent. And the last
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it could have been Super Mario Brothers. I want to for the video game minute. I feel like this is incumbent upon. I need to do this. We need to talk about who I'm watching on Twitch.
Oh, how
about that? There's a streamer pick of the week. Who I'm watching on Twitch. And I'm going to start it off. One of my favorite streamers is a guy whose name is Arcus. It is spelled Arcus.
Okay.
And he is described by many as the Bob Ross of streaming.
Okay.
All he does is he speed runs old Nintendo, basically like Nintendo games, like NES games.
Already love it.
And he is the world record holder for Ninja Gaiden.
Wow.
So he streams from, I'm not kidding, from like noon to 9 p.m. every single day. He wears a cowboy hat. He's got a big mustache. And he is like the calmest, chillest voice ever. It's the most relaxing thing ever. So if you guys are on Twitch and you guys are looking for a new streamer to watch, check out Arcus. Tell him I sent you.
I like it. All right.
There you go. Here's the news.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
I have a question for you now. Now that you put me on the spot there several times. Are you ready for the topic du jour?
I didn't know there was going to be a test. I mean, you said, that's not really fair. I mean, you put me on the spot.
I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day. And today it is Locke Key, the Netflix series, not the comic book, although we're going to talk about both here. But the Netflix series was 10 episodes, just released a couple of weeks ago. The episodes ranged from like 40 minutes on the low end to like 55, I would say, on the high end. We'll start as we do with all of our reviews for TV and movie, spoiler free.
Sure.
And I'll ask you, Ryan, did you like it?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think you might.
Nope.
I really didn't think that you would.
How about you, Rich? Did you like it?
Like is a strong word.
Yeah.
It was not a like for me.
It was not a like for you, dog?
No.
And
you know what killed me about it?
What?
Wanted to like it.
I desperately wanted to like it. I really did. I got it like 3-4 episodes in. I'm like, please turn it around.
I wanted to
turn it around.
I wanted to even love it. And so I was forcing my way through it and like trying to like single out the high points and be like, well, this is good. I like this part of it. So that was frustrating to me. And because we do so much comic book stuff, obviously, on the podcast,
of course.
And most of it is Marvel or DC. And the fact that there's some of these really good stories out there that aren't, Justice League or Avengers, and it's really good stuff. And now they're starting to get picked up and put on Netflix, or they're getting picked up on like, The Boys is on Amazon or whatever the hell, or they're making movies of them. You're like, oh, this is all good. And I was like, this Locke and Key story is great, and I want to see it. I was fascinated how they were going to be able to pull some of this stuff off.
Yep.
Frankly, they didn't with some of it.
They did not.
and then they changed a good amount of it. So again, this is all spoiler free. When we get into spoilers, it's also going to spoil the books a little bit. But my first thing would say is whether you watched the show or didn't watch the show, I would urge you to read the books.
Yes.
Now, you told me you read the first volume.
The first volume, yep.
And I think there's either 6 or 8 total.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read them all. They were a while ago. But really, really liked it. And again, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez are the guys that wrote the book. Joe Hill, of course, is Stephen King's son. Both these guys have a cameo actually in the show. They pop up for a second. But it's great. This was missing something.
And I know what it is.
Okay.
I know what it is.
Can you say it now?
Ask me the next question.
Yeah, who do you think this was for?
I have no fucking earthly idea who this is for. Because to me, having read the first volume of the comic, it was very dark. Yeah. There were some really heavy things. There were some legitimate horror aspects to it that like I thought they were going to do. And then you have this show where it's like they swear kinda, but like that's it. Like they didn't push. There was no like scary moments. I wasn't scared once. So this is like basically like Coraline and like the Goonies. Like mixed it. I don't know who this is for. Like I don't know
and
this was made for.
This is what I was wrestling with for a while, and I would compare it. I was telling somebody at work about it. It's like actually I think I was telling Shyam about it, and I'm like, it's like The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe,
right?
But like a little darker than that. Like it's not like that, and I just think so. It's supernatural horror, and so when you're watching it, you're like, all right. It's some of the stuff, some of the lines are like pretty poorly done, and so
oh my god, yeah,
like
so bad.
And your wife would appreciate this. Like some of it is like CW show dialogue.
Oh my god, yeah, it's worse.
But then it also goes to like there's some serious stuff, but they kind of don't go as serious as the comic book.
No, and like
so they kind of allude to it, and as a guy, and like we've read it, and or at least enough of it, where you're like waiting for them to go down a little bit darker, and then they kind of leave it there. But
and they don't, and they never talk about it again.
No,
you know, there's just
but
like
there's serious stuff. Like there's murders in it. There is like, but they don't go as far into like even like mental health that they have in the book,
which is a huge part of it.
They kind of gloss over that, and you're like,
yeah,
oh man.
And it's just like, yeah, and I know this bounced around for like 10 years. Like this has been out the comics have been out for a while.
Yes.
And someone bought the rights and then sold it, and then it was going back and forth, and it was in like development hell, and then it landed at Netflix. So my belief is that like Netflix is like, all right, we'll make this, but you kind of have to make it a little lighter.
Which I don't know why, because
I don't know why.
Has some shit, but I think because again, some of the characters, and because I think the comic book also is sort of a narrow wheelhouse, because like, you know, I read it not too long. So I think I was in my 30s or late 20s when I read it. But I still obviously very clearly still like shit that's designed for like kids. You know what I mean? So I think some adults will read something with magic keys and they'll be like, this is dumb. Fuck it. I'm done. But then like you also couldn't give this to like a 12 or like a 10-year-old, because now they're dealing with like, oh, the mom's an alcoholic, and like
she got like raped or like sexually assaulted
like,
after her husband was murdered right in front of her. Like that's heavy shit. And they don't talk about that like at all.
So like they kind of pick and choose, and you're like, I don't know. The reason why the comic book was good though was because it was actually scary. There were times in the book where like this, even like the description says, oh, it's a supernatural horror drama, and you're like, no, there's no horror in this.
There's no horror.
There's horror in the book.
Yeah,
and so it's more supernatural, and I think that's when you go on kind of a fine line, because I would say most supernatural shows are more skewed towards a much, much younger demo.
Right.
Like all those shows are more kind of like, oh, this is fun. You know, it's like a Harry Potter.
This was like one long episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like that's exactly what it was. It was like, it was horror, but it wasn't. Like there was like zero stakes horror. You know You
Yeah.
knew none of the main characters were gonna die. You know what I mean? And I know
Yeah.
people make the same bitch about the same shit about like Marvel movies, but like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be horror. Like there's supposed to be like death.
Yeah. It was just
You
like
know?
whatever. And I think that like so like the story, there's like an outline of a good story because it is like an outline from the book.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like what they chose to do wasn't great. The
No.
acting, what do you think of the acting?
Oh my god! So there were several characters I will say though, I will concede there were 2 characters that I really liked, and the rest of them were god awful, god awful.
Which characters did you like?
I liked
Kinsey?
Kinsey, and I
Yep.
liked the older brother.
Tyler.
Tyler. I
Yeah.
thought those 2 kids did a really good job.
I thought they were both really good. And it's funny. So
Um,
last week when we were talking about it, and we were both like halfway through, and you said the little kid was a terrible
so
actor.
fucking annoying.
And I was
so
like,
fucking annoying.
I don't think I minded him the first couple of episodes, and then once you pointed that out, I was like, holy shit, he is Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker, and Phantom Menace bad.
Yeah,
And like some of it's the dialogue, but it's
but
just
his voice is just like
it's not only his voice, but it's literally like he's reading the words to like somebody off camera. Like it's like he's never really on set with anybody. He's just like, but again, he's a little kid, like whatever.
He's a little
but
kid. We'll give him. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll get work. He's fine.
Yeah.
But the mother, Nina,
Oh, you don't like Nina?
might be the worst actress I've ever seen.
I kind of had the hots for
I mean, like you. And that's the other thing I didn't like too. How many people with high-waisted jeans can we put in one show, for Christ's sake? Those like mom-ass jeans.
a lot of high jeans.
Like every single person, every single female character in the show is wearing those high-waisted mom-ass jeans.
Yeah, it's mom ass jeans.
Like, cut it out. Stop it.
Did you think there was any comedy?
Get some help. There was no comedy. There was zero comedy in this.
No, there wasn't horror or comedy.
I hated all the supporting characters. I didn't care about any of them.
Yeah.
Like, and there was, some things that happened that, towards the end that you're like, okay, great. This was a waste of my time. Waste of time.
All right.
I will say the set was really nice. They filmed this in Canada, so it's not actually Massachusetts. The town they make is not a real town.
It's a fake town in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you got that. So Ryan, I think fair to say, usually when we do movies, we say, is it a theater movie? I guess the best way for like a Netflix show is like, is this a must binge watch?
No,
it's not.
No, watch. If you haven't seen Hill House, watch that.
Yep.
Like that's so much better. Like I thought this was going to be Hill House, but like, more of a horror twist or whatever. Like more.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Hill House, but with more like magic / fantasy.
Yeah, like this was a dump. This is a dump.
Yeah.
And they're doing, what are they going to do with season 2? Like, who gives a fuck what they're going to do with season 2?
I'll tell you what they can do. They can shine it up real nice. They can turn it sideways and stick it up your candy ass.
There you go. Your Rudy Poo candy
Rudy
ass.
Poo. Brian, what is your #dork score?
2.
Ooh, boy.
That's generous.
You just dropped a deuce on them.
I dropped a deuce on them. They dropped a deuce on me. I'm going to return the favor.
Oh, man. I think I'm going with a 3 still, but I could probably be talked lower.
You.
But it's still, that's on the low side.
I don't think I've ever given anything lower than, no, I think I gave Jurassic World a 1. Did I give Jurassic World a 1 or give it a 2?
You were not high on Jurassic World.
I think I gave it a 2.
Is there anything else non-spoiler? Again, I urge you to read the book. You're going to want to read the book because, by the way, we're going to spoil the book here a little bit. Just a little bit. Not just a little bit. Read it recently,
we got to talk about some differences.
Some of the differences.
Yeah.
So good. Spoilers.
Yeah, let's go to spoilers.
All right, spoilers. All right, so the differences from the book, and we sort of hit on them a little bit there in the spoiler-free portion, but the character of Nina, very specifically, that was one where early on you're like, all right, are they going to reference this or no? And so in the comic, Sam Lesser is still the kid that goes and shoots and kills Rendell Locke. But Sam goes to the house that day in Seattle with another kid. Al something.
Yep.
And that kid ends up raping Nina the same day that Rendell gets murdered.
Yeah.
And now, so that's just as fucked up as
And when you
anything
come into the
possible.
story, she's in the throes of a drinking problem. She's not a recovering alcoholic.
No,
She's like
no.
she's like a straight alcoholic because of all the things that have happened.
So she is that character alone is much darker,
way
much
different,
bleaker, and obviously she's gone through what is like unspeakable. But she's also, you're not even sure if she's like a good mom.
No,
like,
because she's so detached. She's so detached from the kids.
Yeah,
and like this one, it's like a mom trying to hold it together while also might have had some mental issues like alcoholism and stuff like that.
Right?
It's so the other way.
Yeah, they kind of reference it and like, oh, she's drinking, but like, you never once thought she didn't love her kids in the show,
right?
Where in the book you're like, oh man, like you got kids, you know what I mean? Like their dad's gone, and they make him out to be great, obviously, but the mom in this is like, you want to like her more, and that's one of the things where you're like, all right, that's drawing a line. And if you take out a lot of like the kind of darker, messed up stuff from the book, then the show's just going to be different.
It's super different. And like you said, she's kind of borderline abusive with the kids, and she's very detached, which leads you to believe like, are these kids doing this to, you know what I mean? There's like this Alice in Wonderland kind of feel to it, where it's like, are these kids doing this to cope, or are they doing this to, you know what I mean? And this, it was just like, no, it's just she's you know, and she just was so wooden the entire time.
Yeah, she was pretty wooden.
You know what I mean? Like that whole like what's going on thing. Like,
and there also wasn't much difference between the character when she was drinking and when she wasn't.
I thought that she was more interesting and a better actress when she was playing drunk than when she was just like
but also she was just like a little more giggly. Like the character wasn't really different. Like she made breakfast when she was drunk and she didn't, which you'd think would be the opposite, but
which is
or whatever it was
strange.
Like,
and how about her like dating the cop that's investigating her friend's murder, and she like agrees to go on a date with him like 2 days after the fact? That's wildly inappropriate.
And then where did that lead to?
Nothing.
That went nowhere.
Yeah.
Obviously they're really banking on a season 2.
Well, I gotta tell you,
so
I'm not here for it.
What's interesting is the showrunners have said they're already working on it. They're like midway through the script for season 2, but Netflix hasn't officially picked it up yet.
Please don't.
They don't need to.
You don't need to.
I also thought, and again, I read the whole book like a while ago, but from your recollection, wasn't the Kinsey character also a lot darker?
Yes.
I remember that was one of my takeaways from the show was like, they're trying to show you where she's at. And like the whole thing with her taking the fear out of her head, like that was part of it. But the character herself, she was more kind of like deeper, darker shit. Just darker is how I would probably describe it.
Like she was like kind of a less bubbly character. I mean, I think the girl did a fine job. She did a really good job.
No, I liked her too, but it was a slightly different portrayal than I would have thought.
Yeah, like I think Netflix was just kind of afraid to kind of go there.
Yeah.
And they fucking should have.
They kind of half-assed it.
They did half-ass it.
Because again, the comic book wasn't so popular because like if you made it lighter, then I don't think the book would have been as good.
Right.
It would have been just like another fantasy thing.
And again, it just leads us back to like, I don't know who this is for, because clearly it's not for adults.
Right.
And clearly like a 10-year-old can't watch it because of the language and the murders.
I was going to say,
who the fuck is this for?
There's just enough of the dark shit.
For
you
who?
Know, like, No. Well, I mean, there's just enough to turn away the younger kids.
Yeah. Right.
Like a younger kid, if you were going to sit down and watch it, like I have a 10-year-old niece and nephew, like, I think they'd be like, not that they would lose their mind, but like showing them the scene where like Sam comes in and kills them, and then is like, trying to like he's got like Bodhi hostage and stuff. I'm like
that's a little heavy. Yeah,
they probably don't need to see this part of it, right?
Yeah,
and
then
the
language, obviously.
But then the whole thing with like Dodge when he's like having sex with Tyler and stuff, and you're like, oh god.
I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. I know we're jumping around here, but like.
Mm-hmm.
Are now the Locke, Kinsey, and Tyler like Eskimo siblings with each other because they both, you know what I mean? Like, what's the deal? What's good with that?
So Dodge again. So the demon comes out, right, and so the demon attaches himself to Lucas from like the back in the day guys, like the keepers of the key, and then he ends up coming back to life through the well,
but as an echo. Yet he can interact with the world.
Who's an attractive lady,
but can't be killed.
Right. And then she's also Gabe, who is made up and is not in the goddamn book.
Not in the book.
And that's like their big reveal. And I even read somewhere that they were like, oh, like the writers of the show wanted to do things different than the book, just so even the people who read the book would be surprised. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
Not a surprise. It's not how that works. And not only that, but like, it's dumb. Like that was a dumb thing. Because now the other girl, what's the other girl's name? The quote unquote like hot girl who was like,
oh, Eden.
Like now she's a demon too.
She's a demon too. But
Like
the whole
what
thing
the
with
fuck
like
is this? Like this is stupid.
But that also doesn't make any sense. So, like, if you took a really good book, forget it even being a graphic novel, but it's a really good book, and you adapted it to be a movie, and then you had different writers, and you like changed stuff just so the people who read it would be surprised. That's insane.
And it's not the same thing. Like
you're like, why else would you think it was popular? Like this, if they wrote this, it wouldn't be however many copies they sold or whatever.
Right. I don't know.
That part just bugged me. And then one of the other parts was, which was really good in the comic, and they kind of don't really do a lot of it here. So you know that one door that you can open and your body drops dead and then you can fly away? You know that one?
Yeah.
So in the comic, Bodhi uses it. And he uses it in this too.
Using this like once, briefly.
Right. And then they don't really go back to it. Because I don't know if they're setting it up, but Bodhi goes in. And then Dodge ends up getting in Bodhi's body and is operating as Bodhi. And people still think he's Bodhi, but it's actually Dodge.
Yeah.
And then Bodhi's locked out of his own body. And then eventually once they like catch up and kill Dodge, Bodhi's just there. And they end up cremating Bodhi's body. And it wasn't the kid. Like the kid. So the kid's now
like the kid's dead. Like,
yes.
That's heavy. Heavy
it's
shit.
It's super. Now, Tyler eventually kind of can like fix things like down the road.
Yeah, because there's like a time key, and there's like I kind of reading up on it, and there's
I think it's like the alpha key he eventually gets.
Yeah.
No, but like when you're reading it, you're like, they just fucking killed Bodhi, but they didn't even like kill him. Like now he's just trapped in like purgatory or whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because he's still floating around with the other ghosts, but he can't get back into his body because his body was left there for so long because nobody's guarding it, and they ended up just killing him. But it was like, but also like the whole idea of like the family seeing Bodhi and Bodhi's like looking for keys and they think it's Bodhi, but it's actually Dodge.
Yeah, that's a nice little twist.
It's so much better. So much better.
Then like, so now Dodge is a character, this Gabe character, which I don't really give a shit about.
Yeah, the Gabe character is bad. And it's like also he was like way too eager to do anything that Kinsey said. Like anything. He's like, hey, let's go down to the caves. He's like, okay. He's like, let's go to this. Okay. He's like, hey, I want to date both of you guys. He's like, okay. Let me ask you this part, Ryan. And I know you already like the show enough.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So Gabe clearly is just, they use like the change the face key.
Yeah.
Which is also not in the book. In the book, they had.
It's a gender one.
Yes. There was a gender key and there was another key that could like. Maybe change your skin or something, but it was.
I remember reading it was like the skin key or
something like that. But so this one they changed it and whatever. That's fine. Like all the keys weren't the same, and that doesn't really matter, I guess. But so Gabe would have like no family, obviously.
I guess, yeah.
So the kids just like met Gabe that year, or how long had Gabe been going to school? Did he show up?
It's never explained. He just like shows up and he's like in that crew. Like he just shows up and they don't really give him a backstory. So that's why I don't care about that character because he's like a complete noner. Like it doesn't fucking matter who this kid is.
But also like, so Scott and all the Savinis.
Yeah.
Did they just like Gabe goes here now? Out of nowhere? Like there's no back. I think he mentioned one thing about like, oh, his parents. I think maybe there's one line where he's like, oh, like my parents sent me off to the school or whatever. But it's like, I don't know, man. I don't buy it.
Like, where do you come? Yeah, I don't buy
that
either.
Like the same time the Locke did.
Yeah. And I don't know. It was weird. That whole thing was weird.
Yeah. And then like the Ellie stuff, like she goes from like not saying a word to him to like full disclosure. Here's everything that happened.
Well, the other thing that really bugged me too, and we'll get, I know we'll get into this later. Like, didn't you find that Bodhi and the kid, they found out what the keys did like way too easily?
They did kind of figure him out pretty quickly.
Like, oh, like this mirror key, you go into this mirror and it's like a mirror prison. And like, well, why the fuck would I ever use that? Like, why would I ever use that?
Yeah.
Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, oh, if I walk in there, I'm going to get trapped and I'm not going to be like, oh, great. Like, what the fuck do I have that for?
Yeah, no, they did kind of figure him out a little.
And then
quick.
they used that one once and then never again.
Yeah, that one was weird, and that was like where like your face, and it had like the face, like it was like basically like your version from Us.
Right.
That's all it
With, like,
reminded me of, with like the weird smile and like the come here.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the comic book either.
Yeah, but like that was stupid.
And
Like,
also the head key, which is obviously like super important in the comic. And I was wondering how they were going to do this. The comic, they literally open the head up, and then the people can gather around and look inside, like literally look inside
like,
the head.
that would be way cooler.
And this one, they're
way
like, oh,
cooler.
let's make different doors. Like all it is doors.
And it's like a candy shop. Like, what the fuck is this?
Well, they're all different. And you're like,
I know. Like,
I don't know.
Whatever.
Wasn't great. I also thought like who was the Duncan, the uncle, was a much bigger character in the first one.
Right. And so was the who was the like the great grandfather or whatever?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
He's the one who kind of explains everything to Bodhi, right?
Yeah, the one who Bodhi meets him in this, but it's like very briefly.
Yeah.
And then they also don't really, at least I don't remember, because I was watching the shows kind of quick, and like you, was kind of like losing interest in it. Did they really explain? Like they just make so Lucas was Dodge, and obviously it's not him that.
Yeah, right.
But because what happened was that door opened. So like back in the day, like the Keepers of the Key, so Rendell Locke and all those guys, like the late 80s, they opened that Omega door thing.
Right.
And then Duncan, their brother, followed him down there, and he was getting close to the door, and Lucas like saved him from it. And Lucas kind of put his arm through the door, and that's why he got like turned into a demon or whatever. But I don't think they even like explained that. It's like Lucas was actually kind of a hero, and then but they skipped.
They
that
never
part
said no.
altogether.
They skipped that part. They just said like, oh, there are these like
the
bullets.
Little bullets.
What the fuck is that stupid?
Little bullets. Why would you change that? The story of him reaching into the door to save Duncan is actually better than the bullet.
It's way better. What is this thing with these stupid bullets?
But they basically like they half-assed the Duncan character. Like he was kind of in it, but not really.
He just showed up like randomly, like he lived in Boston and just like popped in
and out.
And then even then they're trying to like talk to him about what happened. He's like, I don't know.
You don't remember
what the fuck was the point of view?
Yeah.
What's the point of view?
There was no point.
Yeah.
It's too bad. But yeah, that's weird. So the well lady slept with Tyler and probably slept with Kinsey.
Yeah.
And like I don't think slept with Ellie.
And maybe Ellie.
Because
that was like her ex-boyfriend.
Oh yeah, probably at first. I bet when he first showed up. In the comic book, I think they're like more together, and she does more stuff for him.
Right.
I don't know. It's frustrating because
it's frustrating.
There's a good story there.
It's
there's
stupid.
A good, cool story.
Not in this show. There isn't.
No, there isn't.
No.
10 episodes. I assume too many.
Yeah.
Especially because they left stuff out anyway. Like, so you probably could have trimmed it down.
Could have trimmed it down. Like
they also, it's one of those shows where they kind of hit you over the head with like, once you kind of figure something out, like, you know, they'll like go back in time and show you like the whole scene from when the principal got killed.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, no, we got it.
No, I got it. You don't have to rehash this whole thing.
I don't need to see another angle.
We picked it up. Yeah. The other thing, I mean,
a lot of shows do that, and it's frustrating.
The whole Mean Girl thing, where they were like being mean to Eden with like the jewelry box thing, like that was pointless.
And it went on too long.
Because then she wound up joining the team anyway. Like you didn't need to do that. It went on for like 2 episodes.
It's a great example of like a show that depicts a school, and yet they have like 6 characters that they talk to.
Right.
They have like
how many
Tyler,
kids go to that
Kinsey,
school?
They have like the Savinis, and then Tyler's girlfriend there, Jackie, and like that was it.
You know what the weirdest thing to me in this show was?
How they were like so quick to tell them about the keys, and like
like why would you ever tell any of that too? But like, who is Jackie's friend, the black kid?
Oh,
remember the kid? He was like, "Oh, like I can tell that she likes you." Remember that kid?
Oh, with the prosthetic legs.
What the fuck? Like you went like you introduced this character, and then in like the last episode, you have him with his pants rolled up, and the kid has no legs. Like either
why not
make it a thing or don't make it a thing. But like that was
doesn't need to be a thing.
Was so weird to me.
That like that's what they decided to do.
I was just like, okay, well, you show the kid from like I don't know, like it was just like so.
Well, no, there's
off-putting
one
to me.
Well, that's rude, Ryan.
No, because you're thinking the whole time that this is the able-bodied kid, and then the way.
No, Tyler made a joke. He was like, "What's with the shorts?" And he goes like, "Do my legs look cold?" And you're like, "Okay." That was it.
Right, but then like the way they like kind of break it, that you just see this kid from like the waist up the whole time, and then you see them like walking across the grass, and he has like his pants rolled up to expose. Like, what person with prosthetic legs like rolls their pants up so people can see that they have prosthetic legs?
I don't know. I didn't have a problem with that.
To me, it was just like the most jarring, like off-putting thing. It just seems so out of place, so forced, and like so out of place that it like upset me.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know what exactly the point was.
And I'm not taking the piss out of like disabled people. That's not what I'm saying. It was just like, why make that a thing?
I don't know. Maybe he was the best actor for the job.
That's fine, but like,
I don't know.
Jeez,
Ryan.
That's the way you break the news to people. I didn't like it.
I guess not.
I didn't like it.
I thought the show had bigger issues.
It did, but that was one of them. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like 9 episodes deep, and I'm like pissed off, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Did you think anything in the show was cool?
Yes.
Because a show with magic keys should be cool.
I think the sound it made when you put the head key in was like pretty good.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Like,
yeah, it was
kind of like a kind of a gross sound.
Yeah,
and they did it a lot. I like the house.
The house was cool. The cool setup. I liked finding out like what different keys did, and again, they like the one that makes fire. Like that one wasn't in the comic, and there's
and that seems like
weren't.
There's
that one
all
seems
these like
useless.
And not only that, it seems kind of dumb because you have all these keys that are like very like cerebral, like they have to do with the mind, or they have to do with like, and like, oh no, this one just makes fire.
Yeah, just get a blowtorch.
Like, why would you make that? And wasn't there the whole thing in the comic too that like they actually make keys?
Yeah,
like the Locke family actually makes the keys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's something from like that Omega door. And so I wonder if this show does have a season 2. Remember how a couple of the bullets hit and they like fell down to the ground, and they zoomed in on them for a second? I wonder if like that residue will make a thing. But you need to have like, I forget what the formula is, but Tyler ends up being able to create keys, and then he ends up kind of saving Bodhi, and he ends up like talking to his dad at some point.
And how about,
because that was also really heavy, like it should have been heavy. The way the show was, it wasn't, but like they had that one cabinet that you could put in like a broken mug and it would fix the mug.
Right.
So she takes the urn and puts it in there.
Yeah.
Like that could have been good.
That could have been good.
Yeah.
She could have like really gotten out and like hit him or something like that. Yeah. And like, they would be like, woo, you know what I mean? Because she had been drinking at that point. So that would have been something.
Correct. She was on one of her drinkings.
And remember that whole part where like Tyler was like throwing books into his old house, thinking he would read them, and then he knew everything about like England.
That was cool. Yeah.
Was it?
They did that in the book, I think, where it was like you could cram for a test that way. That's kind of smart.
Yeah, but like to get a girlfriend?
Oh, that part
was stupid. Yeah.
But just to like have knowledge. I want to see why not.
Yeah, I mean, because remember he throws the book about the town, which would have been useful, but like reading fucking Jane Austen.
What do you think about the hockey scenes?
I didn't care for the hockey scenes.
No, they weren't.
They need to do a better, like, again, did I say this to you on the podcast last time?
Or I think so. Yeah, on the pod.
That they need to bring me in as like a consultant. Be like, no, like you don't fucking tape your stick like that. No. Like nobody does.
Yeah, the kid who played Tyler was good. He in the comic is like a little bit like bigger.
Yeah,
like just
he's like Hulk,
more not fat at all, but like he's like a big kid.
Yeah.
The other characters look pretty good. The Scott character they completely redesigned. He was really likable in this. In the Scott with one T.
Scott with one T. Yeah.
In the comic, he had like a ton of tattoos and like a nose piercing and like a shaved head. He looked like he was in like some punk band.
No, in this one he looked like he was in like some like early 90s New Jack Swing band. Yeah. He looked like he was part of like Joe Public.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
You know?
He was good. He was in the Savini.
He looked like he was cast in the original House Party.
What did you think of their movie, The Splattering?
I didn't care for that either.
They had a huge.
I
lobster.
had the same problem they had. Why is a lobster in the woods?
Well, he's both a sea and a land animal.
That's not true.
No, it's not. But
I don't care for it.
It's too bad, man. I was excited about this. I also don't know how many people watch this and how many people are going to listen to this episode because they're going to see the title. It says Lock and Key. And they're going to say, nope.
No, thank you. Yep.
This might be just one for the diehards out there.
So for the diehards, and one people like, you know what? I'm not going to watch this, but
Ryan. Well, Ryan just got knocked off the old stream here. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if
it says
it's a
I'm
meat
live.
problem.
Lost the camera.
I
feed.
lost.
There we
Are
go.
you back?
I said I was the big market T. I said I'm going to come out and say it. I liked Jurassic World more than I like this.
Wow. Is this so? You like this really the least amount of anything that we've ever seen on the pod or for the podcast?
This and like Suicide Squad, maybe.
Oh yeah,
like my two least favorite things we've watched as a, and maybe like Luke Cage season 2.
Yeah, that was bad. Luke Cage season 2 was a slog. Yeah, I don't know what I've had ranked this low. It's been a while, but we are losing your connection, Ryan. I have Ryan frozen on the screen right now. He's got a nice smile on his face, which does not sum up how he feels about this program. So we'll see if he comes back. But that's it. We did not really care for Locke Key, which is unfortunate. Good comic, not a very good Netflix show. I'm going to give Ryan 10 seconds to come back, and then I'm just going to go on to the pick of the podcast myself. Oh, boy. Technical difficulties. Classic. It's been a while on #DORK since we've had the technical difficulties. I don't know if he's efforting his way back in, but you know what? He's gone. Ryan's gone. All right, pick of the podcast time. All right, I will receive because there's no opponent this time around. I don't know what Davey would have up his sleeve, but I'm actually going to go a little off course here, something a little bit different. We don't do a whole lot of wrestling on #DORK anymore, but NXT TakeOver Portland was this past weekend, and I'll tell you, the NXT is the best. I love NXT wrestling. If you like good matches and good crowd involvement, good characters, and just crazy stuff in the ring, NXT is the absolute best. And so that is my pick of the pod. Watch all the matches, specifically Keith Lee. Davey's back. I'll catch you. I'll fill you in a second.
Fill me in later. Yeah.
This is my pick of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
NXT TakeOver Portland, specifically the Keith Lee Dominic Dijakovic match. These two big bastards get after each other like none other. Keith Lee is 6'4", 340. Dijakovic is 6'7", 260. And they both do like moonsaults. They both do like corkscrew flips.
Wait, it's that size high flyers?
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
It's not necessarily their main thing because they're also good brawlers.
Yeah.
But there was this one spot, and Dijakovic, who's from Worcester, by the way, he does a bunch of times in the ring where he will like jump onto the rope. Like he'll be like standing in the ring. He'll put both his hands on the top rope.
Yeah.
And then pull himself up and then put his feet on the top rope and dive onto somebody.
What an athlete.
It is incredible. That's the thing. It's like they're probably the two most athletic guys in NXT. And they had a few fights on like regular TV. And then they kind of teamed up for a little bit. It's one of those feuds where they're friends. So like down the road, they could even be like a tag team, I'm sure. But they are just beasts. And they get after it. So it's I would watch that. Ryan, what do you have for the old pick of the pod?
I have two. So there is a show called The Pharmacist on Netflix, which I'm watching, the limited series. It's actually pretty good if you like that kind of thing. If you want to be angry about something in the opioid crisis in America, watch The Pharmacist. It's a story, follows this guy in Louisiana whose son passed away. And then he starts, going through all of these things. I don't want to say too much about it because it's actually pretty
Pharmacist.
Good. The other one is an Instagram follow.
Oh Jesus!
No, this guy is electric, and it's one of those things that I watch it all the time, and I'm so pissed. It's the name. It's all one word. If you follow All Gas No Brakes show,
okay,
It's all gas, no brakes show. All one word. This guy he's like that awkward interview guy. Like he's like, think of like Borat, but like way cringier kind of.
Okay.
And he just recently went to the AVNs, the adult, which speaking of Dork, we should press passes to the AVNs, which I think would be a hell of a time.
Yeah, we should go to that probably.
We should go to that.
We should cover that.
So he was just there talking to people, and he just like holds, you know how like people like hold the microphone and just like stare into camera, like I can't believe this is happening right now.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal comedy.
All right,
so all gas, no break show.
Okay,
check that out.
Ryan, next week we might have a free play. I'm not exactly sure what we have next week. I haven't really thought about it yet.
I got to tell you this: I don't want to talk anymore about
Lock and Key.
Lock and Key.
We could do what was our favorite moments from Lock and Key.
Yeah, no.
It'd be a short episode.
It'd be a short episode.
Are you watching The Outsider yet?
No, I gotta play catch up. Is it done?
No, not yet. I think I haven't watched Sunday's episode. I want to say that was like 6 or 7, and there's 10. Okay. I believe it's
all right.
10.
So I got some work to do.
Yeah, catch up on it though. It's the HBO like Sunday at 9 show, so it's legit.
All right, man.
It's a Stephen Kinger.
I know it is, but Joe Hill's taking shits all over the place. So
this isn't Joe Hill's fault.
I
can't blame Joe Hill for this.
Joe Hill is getting screwed because they did Horns, the book Horns that he wrote that I really enjoyed. They made some crap movie with Daniel Radcliffe that bombed. They did I think is Nosferatu still on AMC? The one was that was a book of his that's like buried at AMC. Now this, like, someone's gonna figure out Joe Hill because his stuff is actually really good. His book Heart Shaped Box is my favorite of his. So if you into Joe Hill, read Heart Shaped Box. It's awesome.
All right, Ryan. You guys out there can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or just about everywhere else you can get your podcast. By the way, if you've already rated us a 5 stars and given us a review, I guess you can rate 5 stars like more than once. So go ahead and do that every month or so. You can go ahead and do that if you got nothing else better to do. It's free for you. It's free for us. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. YouTube, where you can watch this goddamn episode. If you want.
This goddamn episode. Watch me come in and out.
I don't know what
I used I used the magic key. I don't know what was happening either.
The disappearing act. YouTube.
Yeah, it's the internet key. I was using it.
Dork Podcast. That is a cool key though. If you can, the anywhere key.
That was pretty cool. It's like the movie Jumper.
It's like teleporting. It's like
you gotta have a door though.
You can email us dorkpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Davey on Twitch, twitch.tv/rvond. And you know what we say here on the podcast? All gas, no brakes. Is that what we say?
We do now.
Or is that? I heard that recently.
We do now, yeah.
All right. Bye, Ryan.
Okay, bye.
Talk about it.